For those of you who don't know, narrating actually puts me in a good mood. Like whenever I'm sad, mad, or I'm just not having a good day, narrating puts me in a good mood because I know once I upload this, people who watch it will enjoy it. And it's just a good feeling knowing that people enjoy watching something that you enjoy doing for fun. Hopefully you guys don't take that the wrong way. And yeah, you guys get what I'm trying to say. But what puts you guys in a good mood? Leave a comment down below, and I would really be interested to see what puts y'all in better moods whenever you're sad or mad or just not having a good day. So yeah, I got this pretty good OU battle, and I'm actually using an OU team I made myself. Honestly, it's not the best team ever, but it is pretty fun to use in my opinion anyways. And there was really nothing on my opponent's side of the field that I thought would be threatening. So I'm going to lead off with Hippowdon, expecting him to lead off with a Politoed, but he actually ends up leading off with a Terrakion. And because he lit off with Terrakion, I thought that he would be the focus/lead. So I'm just going to go straight for the Earthquake, expecting him to go for the taunt. But as you're about to see, he isn't focus-sashed, and I clean take him out. And I just find it very odd that he would fodder off or let Terrakion die off the very first turn of the game. I guess maybe he thought because I had Tangrowth and Hippowdon that Terrakion really wouldn't be too useful to him. But yeah, with Terrakion gone, that's one less thing I have to watch out for as he brings in the Politoed. I know he more than likely will go for the water move, so I'm going to switch directly into my Gastrodon. As it reveals to me that he has a Scald, I know that he is now more of a defensive set as opposed to an offensive Politoed, which means if I do lose my Gastrodon, I don't really have to worry about Politoed being a giant threat. So he's going to bring in the Tentacruel on my Scald. I unfortunately don't get the burn, but next turn, hoping that he would stay in and go for the Toxic, I'm actually going to go for the Earthquake, but he makes a good play, switches into his Tornadus, and because I am specially defensive, even if this thing is specs, I should easily be able to take a Hurricane, which I do take it, but he gets the Confusion hacks, and then I hit myself in Confusion, which means I need to switch out. But because I know that he is specs, I know he's not going to want to switch out, which means I can get a free switch into my Tyranitar and be able to Pursuit Trap this thing. And because I'm Choice Banded, I'm pretty positive I will be able to knock him out. Unfortunately, I'm actually the specially defensive Choice Banded set as opposed to the offensively Choice Banded set, and he just barely ends up living. And he's going to bring in the Ferrothorn, obviously because I am blocked into Pursuit. I know he more than likely is just going to go for a Lair of Spikes or the Stealth Rocks, so I can get a free switch into my Infernape, click Close Combat, and just get off a heavy hit on whenever he decides to switch in. But he goes for the Protect, just scouting out to see what I want to do, and he has nothing on his team that can take Close Combat, so he's just going to leave in the Ferrothorn for fodder. At least I thought, and then it lives. What the hell is going on? I'm Infernape, that's a Ferrothorn. I should easily be able to win this one-on-one matchup, but at the end of the battle, he actually told me that his Ferrothorn was physically defensive, which I know might sound weird, but as you saw there, it really helps him out because he's able to live the Close Combat and get up a second Lair of Spikes as he then switches into the Jirachi, obviously knowing I would go for another Close Combat. With this thing being part Psychic, it can easily take it, and to my surprise, even though I am Expert Belted, that Close Combat still did a pretty good chunk of damage to that Jirachi. So expecting him just to want to get up his Stealth Rocks, I'm going to switch into my Fortress to be able to Rapid Spin them away because he has 2 Lairs of Spikes and Rocks up, and I crucially need to go for the Rapid Spin. Luckily, as he went for the Thunder Wave, I do not get paralyzed, allowing me to spin away all his hard work. And now I am sitting in a good position because I can just go for the Volt Switch as he goes for the Iron Head. I don't want to take another one, so I'm going to switch into my Hippowdon as he makes his own switch out into the Politoed. And because I switched in second, my stand is actually going to be up and his rain will not be up, which means I'm still in a good position, and I know he more than likely will expect me to switch into my Gastrodon, so what I'm going to do is actually stay in and go for the Earthquake, and I am specially defensive, so even if he wanted to go for the Scald, I would still be able to live it and get off a decent amount of damage on this Politoed. And on hindsight, I honestly should have switched into Gastrodon because after he Toxic, I could have gone for the Recover, and you're going to see that if I had just done that, this battle would have gone so much easier for me. So because I know he's going to predict me to go for another Earthquake and switch into the Tornadus, I'm actually going to go for the Slack Off, sorry. And now I have nothing on my team that wants to take a hit from this thing, and I decide to fodder off my Gastrodon, which, like him foddering off Terrakion, was really stupid for me because Gastrodon, as I said, really would have helped me out in this battle. So on the double down, I bring in my Infernape. As he switches into this Tentacruel, I'm just going to go straight for the U-turn, and expecting him to go for a Lair of Toxic Spikes, I actually U-turn down to my Fortress, but he ends up going for the Scald, and because he did paralyze me with the Jirachi, I don't have to worry about him burning me. And because he went straight for the Scald, I guess he doesn't have the Toxic Spikes, and he might be a sub-toxic Tentacruel, so expecting him to go for the substitute. I actually go for the Volt Switch, but no, he just goes for the Scald again, just trying to get off as much damage on my Fortress as possible as I Volt Switch back down to my Hippowdon. And because I am toxic, I do not have to worry about him burning me with the Scald. And at this point, nothing on his team is going to be able to live 2 Earthquakes from my Hippowdon. So he's just going to leave in his Tentacruel, go for the Protect, just to try to get off some more residual damage with the Toxic. As the following turn, after I live the Scald, I'm going to be able to finish him off with an Earthquake. He did get a crit, but in the long run of the battle, I'm not too sure how much that crit matters, because as you're about to see, he's going to bring in the Politoed, which obviously is faster than me, and I have nothing on my team that really wants to take a Scald or appreciates being burned. So either way, I more than likely would have just left in my Hippowdon for Death Fodder, because now I can get a free switch into my Tyranitar, and even if he does burn me, I know Superpower should be able to bring it down to a point where the Sandstorm will finish it off. Luckily for me, he doesn't burn me, and I'm going to be able to knock out this Politoed, which means the Weather War is mine. Although Ferrothorn and Jirachi are still a bit of a problem, just because if Jirachi is especially defensive, he can take an Overheat from my Infernape if I'm not mistaken, because I actually don't run any special attack EVs, and then he will be able to paralyze me, and I do really need my Infernape if I want a chance to win this battle. So knowing that he more than likely will go for the Iron Head or the Thunder Wave, I switched into my Tangrowth as he did Thunder Wave me. And the reason why this is sped up is because you know what Rachi does: Iron Head, flinches, and hopes for paralysis. Luckily, I managed to break through after he critted me, and I'm able to get the Leech Seed off. And then I make a bit of a dumb play and switch into my Ferrothorn. I actually could have stayed in and gone for the Sleep Powder, which is what I should have done. But then again, I did have a good chance to miss or get paralyzed, so I guess the switch out into Ferrothorn wasn't all too bad. As he goes for the Leech Seed, I get paralyzed, and I do believe I went for the Volt Switch. Unfortunately, I get paralyzed again as he gets up a layer of spikes, and this turn I actually did go for the Rapid Spin. But the following turn, I'm actually going to end up Volt Switching on now into my Infernape, because I know at this point, something that I should have realized earlier was that, oh hey, Infernape can pretty much take on his Rachi and his Ferrothorn, because I can just click Overheat, and even at -2, I should still be able to get off a good enough amount of damage on that Jirachi to the point where I can bring in Tangrowth, go for the Sleep Powder, put it to sleep, then switch into my Tyranitar, and potentially knock it out with a Superpower. So it really doesn't matter what he wants to do right here, but he ends up making a bit of an odd switch into the Jirachi. I'm not entirely too sure why, but to my surprise, I actually end up taking him out, which I was really not expecting. I guess I was just underestimating Infernape's power after he failed to take out a physically defensive Ferrothorn. But hey, that's just me. And at this point, with Ferrothorn being his last, the battle is basically in my favor, because even at -2, I will still easily be able to knock out this Ferrothorn, and that's going to be, I believe, the 3-0 victory in my favor. Hopefully you guys did enjoy what I thought was a pretty good OU battle. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to see more content, and yeah, with that, I do believe I'm out here, so enjoy the rest of your night, enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, later.